Hello! Well, we got ourselves another town episode. I do not think that this is going to be boring. So far I've been talking a lot about the towns having character but not really showing you anything. Well, that's not quite fair. We've seen a few things leak out, especially in the last town with the theater. Yeah, those mages and zombies that were near the town, those were these guys thinking that we were the enemy. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Alright, we got the priest and the headquarters. Let's see what sage advice we have for the next battle. That sounds so non-specific though. I can't think of any battle where looking ahead to see where the enemy is and stuff would be a bad idea. Also, there are no darkness or fog of war effect in this game. Let us be thankful for that. Well, Mandarin Mage School. We are going to see some things. Let's start here. I mean, that kind of makes sense. She's never seen us before, most likely. So I think we can infer that we told her all the horrible things that happened, but that's sort of light thing. That's new. That wasn't mentioned before. Wait, what? I'm pretty sure she'd rather do anything than talk to someone else immediately after she started grieving, but okay. We got video game pacing in front of us here. Alright, let's talk to the least weird person in town. That'll be enlightening. I think that opening line says it all. Well, that was a very sudden info dump. And there weren't a whole lot of people telling us to go and meet this person because that's the way forward. But hey, you're supposed to talk to everyone anyway, so that's how it is, I guess. Yeah, that's the reason this room is blocked off. Things are not looking so great in there. So why do I say that this town has character? I mean... Huh. Yes, it's full of mages. It is a mage town. It seems a little one-note right now. Well, except for the whole being very irresponsible with using fire indoors. And we're gonna see some more signs of humanity in here. I think it's pretty good. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, of course, no one in front of the books wants to talk to random people. Which is understandable. That's the only thing he says as far as I know. Okay, well, I stand corrected. Okay, I guess that means after we deal with whatever is in that basement. uh, don't worry, we'll find out what's in there. Oh yes indeed. That is going to be fun. Well, before we go into that room, it's very important to check around and talk to everyone. Well, almost everyone. He really isn't a battle type. I had to pause for a second because describing Arthur it takes a little bit. He is a character who can join you eventually, and his stats are not very good. When you start growing up him up in levels, he continues to be not very good for quite a while. In fact, he's one of those characters where there are people on the internet who will defend him to the death with the cry of, "Who cares if he's garbage," until he's like as high a level as you can possibly be in the game. At that point, he grows really fast and he becomes awesome. And yeah, so he's great when the game is basically over. I'm sure you've seen that sort of character. I don't like that very much. That's because the end game is such a tiny part of it that I essentially do not care. But that's just me. I mean, I don't necessarily oppose a character with bad starting stats, but good growths if you take care to level them up from the point that they're bad. But the point where they actually get good needs to be, I don't know, the second half of the game instead of the last 10th of the game. Well, rant over. Oh sure, gimme! Or whatever it is. How could this possibly be a bad thing? Oh, you might want to take off your headphones. Yeah, maybe I should have warned you about that. Oh, wait, what? Are we the monsters now? Are we the bad guys? Am I now on the side of evil? Because I'm perfectly willing to play that game, but I would like the game to be very upfront about that sort of thing. I don't like being surprised about that sort of thing. Yeah, people say that a lot now, although some of them have unique lines, like, observe. Like, she recognizes you immediately, even though you've been turned into a hen that, as far as I know, looks nothing like you. This is one of the things that I like about Magic and Shining Force, by the way. It's a lot more magical than some games I've played, especially tactics games, where magic only takes the form of the whole cataloged, I don't even know how to say it, rigid, scientific stuff. No, you get turned into a hen in this game. Oh, I'm sorry about that. That was very unkind of me. This guy will not let you pass, well, unless you're a hen. Why is that? Well... Oh, wow. You can actually go in here. There's no reason. I mean, why would you? But it's a nice detail with the architecture. Huh. Okay. There's similarly weird magical stuff in Shining Force 2. For example, you get shrunk to the size of a chess piece, more or less. Ask me how I know this. Oh, headphone warning, and volume warning in general. Yeah, sorry about that. I neglected to talk to someone, unfortunately. That is a shame. I tried to get some of the unique lines for When You Were a Hen, but there was a good one that I missed. And you can't go and get turned back anymore. But I'll show you who it is anyway. If you talk to the Infodump 3-eyed person, when you're a hen, they'll say, don't agree to magical experiments. And I couldn't agree more, except it was fun and didn't hurt you, so really, why not? The game kind of implies that Max talks with Anri and convinces her to get going, but I kind of like the idea that Max just walks up to her and doesn't say anything, and Anri turns around and says that she's already worked things out completely on her own. That shows a little bit of character, and I kind of like that. Well, I think that's about it, because the next step is to go into the basement. Well, there is one more thing. Since Anri just joined us, might as well go to headquarters and check her lines and her stats. Oh yeah, that's a neat graphic. They're in bad shape, you say. Their soul without a body is hovering right there. I actually forgot they did that. That's pretty neat. Can you talk to them? A little bit, sort of. When they say in bad shape, they pretty clearly mean dead. Man, that must be encouraging, Anri walking in here and seeing that 3 of the people who joined us are just dead and I'm not doing anything about it. They're haunting the place. Ugh. Right, Anri is a mage, of course. Her defense is not there. Her hit points are similarly absent. She starts with Blaze, so you might think that, much like Tao, she gets stronger Blaze. That's not how she works at all. What happens is she learns Freeze and just keeps learning Freeze as she goes along, which is great because Freeze is very powerful, and we're going to make great use of it later in the game. And while her level is low, it is a lot easier to level her up than, say, a healer, because, as discussed previously, Blaze pierces defense and doesn't care about anything. Or magic in general, in fact. So let's, before we forget, let's revive all those people who I carelessly got killed last battle. It's okay, reviving the dead can be had at a very reasonable price. I have no doubt that people have undergone Shining Force challenges where they act like it's Fire Emblem and you can't revive people. That being said, I wouldn't recommend it, personally. But then again, there are a lot of challenges that I wouldn't recommend, and people do them anyway. And honestly, I can't really fault someone for wanting to make a cool YouTube video where they do difficult stuff. I mean, I'm guilty of attempting that sort of thing. Whether I succeed at that is, I'll leave that up to the viewer. Anyway, that concludes this town section. Next video, we will explore the basement. Well, I'll see you then.